Missouri, and the Director of Digital Fundraising for DNL. Here to demo our member center for you. We have a couple of different flavors that we're going to be sharing with you today. And then I'm going to pass it off to my colleague, Eric Jonas, who's going to show off some of the code and talk a little bit about how our member centers are implemented and how they were built. A couple of things about DNL just to get us started. So we work with nonprofits. We've been working with nonprofits since 2006. We are implementers of the Luminate Online solution. And we also focus around data warehousing and customization of the Luminate Online product. Go to my next slide. Some of our clients, this is a very massive list of logos. We work with clients of all shapes and sizes. So we work with a lot of higher ed, a lot of radio station and media clients, Cause and Cure, small family foundations, large enterprise level organizations. So you name it, and we have probably worked with a like nonprofit. Some of our services that we provide are consulting and strategy, peer-to-peer, fundraising. We have mobile apps. We do software implementations, marketing, and software development. So let's dive into the member center. So our member center is based off of Luminate Online for your constituents to be able to log in, to manage their account information, their giving history, manage recurring gifts, and access all of their team raiser and fundraising events. So as you can see here from this little cell sheet, a couple of key points that all of the member centers that we implement will have are account information, managing recurring gifts, viewing past transactions, updating email preferences, advocacy if your organization has that, and then viewing and registering for team raiser events. We also implement other customizations for our clients, like single sign-on, pulling in Raiser's Edge information. So for transaction history, not looking at not just what's in Luminate Online, but also maybe what's in Raiser's Edge. And then also integrating with other membership-based organizations, like for PBS, allowing people to be able to log in and view television. So you name it, and we have probably customized it. Alrighty, so I am going to leave the PowerPoint now, and I'm going to go through a quick demo here. So what you can see right here, I've already logged into my member center. So when I click on the My Account tab, I'm able to see all of my basic information. So we've got name, email, phone. All of this is configured directly in Luminate Online based on the fields that you've set for your constituents to be able to see and edit. So you're able to select this information. I have a basic giving summary, again, pulling off of the fields in Luminate Online, and Eric's going to go through some of that code in a little bit. When I click on My Giving, it's going to show any of my active recurring gifts, so I can see the amount of my current, the last gift date, what my payment method is, last 4 digits of the card number, and then I have some options to edit it. You can set these in Luminate, so you can allow them to change gift amounts, you can allow them to cancel, push out, or skip a credit card payment, and also update their credit card. So that's really important. When a credit card expires or if they change their bank account information, they can go right in here and they're able to update all of that information. If I click Edit Gift, I can see my current gift amount, update my next payment date, decide if I want to skip my payment or cancel my gift. Down here is my online giving history, so I can filter by year. I can also, so if I had other years outside of just 2023, I'm able to update that. If I click on one-time donations or view one-time donations, I can see everything that I've done in this past year. Then I can see all of my recurring donations as well down here. If I hit View Annual Tax Receipt, it's going to compile a giving summary for me. This is really great when it comes to tax season, and it helps give your customers that self-service that they might want instead of having to reach out to one of your staff members to pull transaction and giving statements for them. These can also be a little bit more branded as donor stewardship levels, and we'll show off an example of that in just a little bit as well. When I click on my fundraising events, I can see that I am registered for one Run for the Badge event. If I click here, it'll log me right into my participant center. I can view the primary event fundraising page, and then I can also go directly into my personal page, which would be my personal page for the event, and I can modify my goal. So everything that somebody would be able to do through a standard participant center has been embedded into our member centers as well. Constituents can also manage their email subscriptions through here. So when I click here, I can select what types of emails I want to receive. Can also choose if I want to subscribe to all or unsubscribe from all. So I'm able to manage that, and I can just hit this save button. It's going to go ahead and update my email preferences. This is live synced with Luminate Online. So anytime I am clicking save, I am automatically going to see that in Luminate on their constituent profile. When I click on my membership, this is a custom tab that we've added. So sometimes we add custom tabs that indicate if they're a recurring gift member, we might give them some additional benefits. If they're needing to log into something like PBS, this might be an additional tab where we showcase how they can do that. In this situation, they can download their membership card and they're able to access it in that way. Sorry about that. All righty, let me get back here. If I click download membership card, so this is just giving them a download. In this instance, the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial Fund allows you to become a member where you can receive a 10% discount at their shop. So sometimes people want to actually download this little card. All righty. My next example here is with Save the Children. So you'll see that the functionality is pretty much the same. It's just been branded a lot more, and we have some more notifications in here. So a little bit more functionality, and I would say kind of just ramping up the user interface for what they're experiencing. So this is the homepage. We have my account where I can manage and edit. Oops, let me sign back in here. Must have signed me out. There we go. Alrighty, so when I click on edit, I can edit my information, again, saving directly in Luminate Online. If I click on email preferences, I can choose if I want to receive email or not from Save the Children. I can modify my username and password, or send a password reset. My giving history, review that. I can see any of my child sponsorships. So this is a unique program that they have that is based on recurring gifts. So I can view any of those. If I click visit my page, it's dynamically rendering a page about my child sponsorship and is including customized information based on my constituent record. In this case, I'm logged in as Carl. I can see some customized notifications for me and all of the information about my sponsored child. I'm going to go back to my account summary and just show off a couple more features within this specific member center. So if I'm clicking Manage Gift, I can change from an ACH to a credit card, cancel gift, and edit the gift amount. Scrolling down to my giving summary, I could print a PDF. This one is a bit more branded, I think, than our other clients. So I'm going to let that one load. So you can see we're calling out my donor, showing my gift summary, how many sponsorship contributions and how many recurring contributions I have. Scroll back up. Last but not least, clicking over to my fundraising events, very similar to the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial Fund example, just a little bit branded differently. With that, I am going to stop sharing my screen and I'm going to pass it over to Eric to show off some of the code that's built in this.
Oh, thanks, Hilary. Can everyone hear me? I'm going to start by sharing just the, hopefully you can see my code editor here. So all of this member center that you've seen on the back end, what we're using is a library called Luminate Extend, which is something provided by Blackbaud. In fact, I can even I think I'm sharing my screen. There we go. So we're using the Luminate Extend library provided by Blackbaud, which is essentially a really nicely streamlined library that facilitates pulling Luminate data into any application that has access to the relevant authentication credentials that you would need to securely access that Luminate data. It's a really great tool because it means that pretty much any whatever framework or tool you want to work within, you can integrate with Luminate in the way that Hilary was just demonstrating. So you don't have to necessarily use a default Luminate survey form or donation form to manage things like gifts or personal constituent information. You can actually build a whole application to manage those things using Luminate Extend. So what we're seeing here is just it's a large code base, but a huge portion of it is this Luminate function here, which is a very versatile function. Essentially, you're just passing in some data in the form of options, and then this is going to reach out to Luminate using, again, an authenticated session here from Luminate Extend. And then what you'll do is you'll then retrieve whatever data you want through through the Luminate API, and then feed that into your front end application. So I can I'll share my browser now. Hopefully this. I think I'm sharing this now. So again, this is the Luminate Extend library. You can actually just get this right on GitHub, and you can it's also served through CDN. So there's really good documentation here if you want to read about that. And just to show kind of how this all works in action. So this is like our demo member center here. If I have my network tab open here, and you'll start to see this get populated with calls to the Luminate API as I go. So that was the login screen, and as I attempt to log in, you'll see it reaches out to start collecting data about this user, right? So here I'm making a request out to Luminate API. It's specifying I want to get information about the user, use the get user method. I pass along my credentials, and then in response you get the username, birthday, well, basically whatever data you tell it to fetch. And if you have custom fields in your Luminate instance, you can pull those in. You can pull as much or as little data as you need, tailor-made to your use case. And so ultimately this data that gets pulled in and data gets pulled in from the other requests feeds into this display. And just to go back to here, if I were to say make a change, you'd see, oops, it's telling me doesn't like that. Now it's now you're just sending the data upstream, so you're updating the user here, and you'll see all the form data being packaged into a JSON object that gets sent up. And here we're getting a response to saying user updated, so we can use that to confirm that we have indeed updated the profile there. And it's very extensible. It takes a significant amount of time if you want to build something really complex, of course. But you can build these things in sort of in a modular fashion as needed. Um, so in this instance, we're using a View app, which is just being hosted right in a Luminate page builder page. You'll see this is page navigator / member center HTML. This is really just a page set up in Page Builder that has, that pulls in the Luminate Extend library and then adds our application code and hosts everything right there. So you don't need any special um, uh, external hosting platform or anything like that. You can actually host these things right in a Luminate hosted page, or if you prefer, you want to integrate this into a WordPress site or Drupal site or whatever else you have that option as well if you want to go that route. I think.
Eric, can you
Yes.
talk a little bit about when we implement one of our, let's say, the Green Turtles member center for our clients? Can you talk a little bit about how they're able to modify the text and the images through a page builder page and kind of show off sort of how easy that process is? So essentially, as we're setting something like that up, when we implement the member center for our clients, we always know that you want to be able to swap out images and messaging. And so we try to make it so that you're able to do that through Page Builder without having to dive through a ton of code, and you're really just replacing what you need to.
Yeah, that's a great point. So essentially, in our application, what we can do is you can have page builder components, and say a client wants to change some text that they present to a user. They can go into that page builder component and modify that, and our application is able to reach in to the page builder component and pull in that information. So it might be easier if I share my screen. Let me just get that going. Okay, you should be able to see this again. So here, for example, in WHRO, you'll see it when I log in. You have this message saying thank you for being a sustaining member. So the member center knows that I'm a sustaining member because it can access my constituent information. If at some point this data, this text here is really just stored in a page builder reusable that we let the client know about. So if they ever want to change that, they don't have to go into the application itself. They'll just be a reusable stored in their Lumina instance they can change, and then since the application is just reading from that, it gives kind of a no-code way to modify aspects of the application, and you can do that with pretty much anything you see on the front end. Could be customized in that way. So yeah, and there are clients who have entire sections of their member center that are done in that way. That are depending on how comfortable they are, maybe with writing HTML, they might write an entire section of their member center themselves, or just particular snippets of text.
Yep. And in this particular instance of the member center that Eric just had up, I will quickly share my screen one more time so that you can kind of see here. Alrighty. So the actual single sign-on here that we've implemented for this client is through PBS. So they have a PBS account, but they also have a Luminate Online account with WHRO. So I'm signing in, and when I click sign in, I'm directed to the PBS website. So this is public media sign-in. I'm signing in with my PBS credentials, and it's authenticating that into Luminate Online. And then shortly after I've signed in here, I'm logged into my account. One of the other APIs that Eric is accessing is group membership. So that's how we're displaying certain content. So for example, when I click on Passport here, we're able to detect, are they a Passport member based on group membership or a certain field on their constituent record, and display that specific information. So because I do have that access on my account, I can go ahead and click over here to then be able to start watching TV and authenticate directly back to their media player. So it really tries to make it really seamless between managing my gift and being able to access the benefits that I have. So this is just one more kind of standard example of what our sort of light version looks like, with all of the basic functionality in. So we roll this out to our clients. Usually I would say, if we're rolling out a light version, it's going to take about 6 weeks to get completely up and running, depending on, how quickly our clients want to move. And then if you have a sort of more branded version where we're coming up with the wireframes and there's a lot of content to generate, then these can take a couple of months. But like Eric mentioned, a lot of this code is already kind of readily available. So we're really just implementing and customizing it for our clients. We have a few minutes left, so I do want to open it up if there are any other questions around the Member Center and what is possible. The only thing that is required for this is a Luminate Online instance. So as long as you have a Luminate Online instance, then you can have a Member Center. Any other questions? All right. Well, thank you everybody so much for joining.